Is there an economic crash coming? Well, it's certainly been the topic of a lot of conversation. We have hundreds of thousands of people laid off in the last 7 days. We have the suspension, at least temporarily, of SNAP and food stamps. What is that going to mean? Normal people losing their jobs via text message. Amazon fired 14,000 people this morning via text message, including thousands of people across companies like Twitch. Good riddance at Twitch. But, you know, a text message, that's how we're firing people nowadays. I don't know, but it's a bloodbath out there. I don't think many people know how bad these numbers actually are. UPS just laid off 48,000 employees. Amazon scheduled to lay up to 30,000 for the year, did 14 to 15K yesterday. Intel, 24,000. Nestle, 16,000. Accenture, 11,000. Ford, 11,000. Microsoft, 7,000. PwC, 5,600. Salesforce, 4,000. Paramount, 2,000. Target, 1,800. Kroger, 1,000. Applied Materials, 1,400. Meta, 600. Is the labor market, weakening? I think that it's a little more complicated than that. Let's look at some of this stuff. You see today, several large technology or tech adjacent companies conducted massive layoffs. 30K at Amazon, Intel 24K, Accenture 11K, Microsoft 7K. PwC, it's bad and it's going to get worse. They hired way too many and this had to happen. That's honestly what the reality of this is. They hired a lot of people during the DEI pushes, during the Joe Biden absentee presidency. They hired a lot of people during the COOF when things are good, and people are leaning out. I've got to be honest, I've leaned out my companies too. It's been a very, very rough week. I'm not going to play the victim because there are people that had to get laid off. They're the ones that, really got screwed over. But, costs are rising. Like at my coffee company, I left my prices the same, even though tariffs hit just about every bean. I tried to hold on as long as I could. Shipping's more expensive. Packaging's more expensive. Everything's more expensive. And advertiser dollars, basically, my YouTube channel subsidizes the hard times, at the coffee company. When the coffee company isn't making a lot of money, the YouTube channel keeps everything afloat. By the way, you could check out, I'll link my coffee company in the description. We are now on Amazon. Our Blackberry Cream is in stock. Tiger's Blood is getting checked in right now. That'll be our last batch of that. We have batches of all of our fall stuff in stock, and our gingerbread K-Cups are now in stock, shipping overnight. I highly recommend you check those out. Those are very, 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 very well selling products that are out for a limited time. Amazon fires staffers via early morning text message and a round of 14,000 job cuts. Some of Amazon workers began firing this week, learned of their fate through an impersonal text message blast, according to a new report. Amazon sent affected employees two text messages early Tuesday morning as the e-commerce giants launched a round of corporate cuts, according to people familiar with the matter, with screenshots reviewed by Business Insider. One message urged employees to check their personal and work emails before bothering to come into the office in an effort to prevent laid-off staffers from showing up to work and discovering their badges no longer worked, according to the report. Just to be sure, Amazon sent a second message directing employees to call a help desk if they had not received an email about your role, Business Insider reported. Amazon declined to comment. Tuesday's layoffs were just the latest in Amazon's efforts to, quote, reduce bureaucracy across its white-collar workforce. Beth Galetti, Amazon's executive in charge of human resources, said in a memo to staffers. Now, that is an important differentiation. This is not hitting the blue-collar workers. This is not hitting their warehouse workers, where I believe I read that they were going to hire 250,000 people for the holiday season. Some managers were told Monday to complete training sessions on how to brief laid-off employees once emails were sent out. Several teams were impacted, including one that works in HR, devices, service, and operations. Impacted employees will be able to look for a new role internally. I'm not sure people would want to do that. We see a lot of people at Twitch got laid off. You know, I wanted to grab a couple of Twitch employees posting to X that they had been fired. This is mass layoffs at Twitch. Right, their Amazon layoffs went out, 90 days severance. This is hitting all orgs. Staying nimble is the message. After 9 incredible years, my time at Twitch has come to an end as part of today's Amazon layoffs. It's been the best job I've ever had. I've grown so much, met amazing creators and coworkers, and live for TwitchCon every year. My resume is updated, up for new roles. Amazon, 48,000 workers in sweeping cost cut. That is a lot. That's an entire large city of people unemployed overnight. UPS slashed 48,000 jobs this year, one of the single largest reductions by U.S. companies since the lockdowns, as the package giant scrambled to contain costs and revive its lagging stock price. Atlanta-based delivery behemoth disclosed the reductions Tuesday while reporting third quarter earnings and that they beat Wall Street expectations. UPS said 34,000 of the cuts hit drivers and warehouse operations, while 14,000 hit targeted management. Now, these are people who are being replaced by robots, part-time workers, or H-1Bs. It's probably going to be a long time till see a white guy deliver a UPS package. That's all I'm saying. The company employed about 500,000 people at the start of the year. That's 10% of their entire staff. Chief Executive Carol Tome said the job loss is a mix of layoffs and buyouts were part of a restructuring aimed at positioning UPS to be at the most efficient peak in our history. The important cut here is obviously the working class people that got cut, but also 14,000 in middle management. These other cuts also, look at this. This is while early this year, UPS planned 20,000 job cuts at close to 73 and to close 73 facilities. Fast forward, now it's 34,000 jobs gone and daily operations shut down at 93 leased and owned buildings in 2025. UPS just posted record profits, expects Q4 revenue near $24 billion and has already saved $2.2 billion this year alone. The company projects $3.5 billion in total cost savings for 2025. Translation, more job cuts are coming. The cuts to operational workforce, including drivers and package handlers, are up 70% from the original target. The working class pays the price while profit hits new highs. Expect more companies to follow the playbook in 2025 and beyond. Everything is fine though, because the stock's up 12% in pre-market. I mean, 48,000. I mean, well, let's just do the math here. Just at these companies, right? 48,000 at UPS. I think we know it was like 15,000 at Amazon right now. 24,000 at Intel. 11,000 at Accenture. 11,000 at Ford, 9,000 at Norvo, 7,000. This is like a lot of tech industry people. Oh, I screwed up the math. Well, let's just call it 50,000 plus 30,000 is 80, 100,000. I mean, we're talking about 150,000 people. 150,000 people cut. It's an absolute bloodbath. Remember, they're not actually replacing you with AI. They're replacing you with AI, actually Indians. Kind of explains while sites are running off Amazon's AWS have been dumping in the bed lately. You see here, Amazon.com services, 10,044 H-1Bs, up from 2,000. This is 630. Wait a minute. What are we looking at the crosstabs? This is 6/30/2025. Amazon services, 10,044. I assume these are H-1Bs. And then here, 630, another Amazon Web Services, so it's a different company, has 2,300. They have tens of thousands of H-1Bs. This is the power of DEI hirings. Yes. This would mean that things would become cheaper for consumers. No, wrong. These are a result of they're replacing people here just in 5 minutes ago. GM to cut 1,200 jobs at Detroit EV plant and 1,200 more at Tennessee and Ohio battery plants due to slowing U.S. EV demand. I don't even think that it's slowing U.S. demand. I think people are holding back on their spending right now. People are a little nervous. Interest rates are still high. We just had 150,000 people laid off in one day or whatever. This is crazy. Total bloodbath. And so, how do people react? Well, they're probably not going to buy that fancy new battery-powered car. they're probably not going to do that. Like, I've had a weird feeling, a weird rumbling in my tummy. I was going to build a new building that would house a better studio, that would allow me to do IRL stuff. And instead of expanding my business going into 2026, I've actually hard cut. You know, you're going to see less of my co-hosts. You're going to see less you know, I can't do IRL stuff. I just feel like 2026 is going to be rough. And, you know, I sold a bunch of my like collectibles that I've built up over the years, and I've sold off, like, not because I'm like, oh my God, I can't pay the bills, but because I think next year is going to be a big tightening of the belt for people. I think that you can't just lay off all these people. You know, you can't just lay off 150,000 people and have no effect to the economy. These people have to go somewhere. And when you're just importing H-1Bs to replace them, then they have no shot. They have literally no shot to find another job. They have no shot because they're being replaced by foreign invaders everywhere. Here's the Kobayashi letter. 48,000, 30,000, that's 78. There's 100,000. I mean, 150,000 people. This is serious stuff. If you bake into that the fact that SNAP benefits are now and food stamps are now in doubt, I think it's going to get pretty scary out there. This is pretty scary stuff. And my heart goes out to anyone who was replaced by some foreign invader, because I think that's a big part of this. I hope you're informed by this video. If you were, please do leave a like on it. If you haven't, please subscribe or follow down below. If you're in a position to, please check out our coffee on Amazon.com. Apparently, you know, Amazon should be lowering my fulfillment costs because, you know, they just fired all these people, but I highly doubt they will. But, you know, that's part of the reason I had to scale back my fulfillment, because I couldn't afford to pay people, because we weren't at critical mass. So I had people standing around making 18 bucks an hour. It sucked, you know, but now my loss is your gain. So you get all of our coffee free overnight shipped. So if you were a coffee company before, you're saving probably $6 or $7 an order because you don't have to pay for shipping on Amazon anymore. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Check out our coffee store in the description, and we'll talk to you again real soon.